Hello everybody, here we are again, and in this live we are gonna be working on Excalidraw project that we were working on yesterday. Minimum at least we'll be giving it 6 hours. Sorry, that was maximum. Maximum we'll be giving it 6 hours, not more than that, and then we'll switch to another thing. 6 hours is not a small thing, right? It is actually a big one. So this is how, like, if I sit right now, so we'll be like continuously coding for 3 hours around, and once, though it is mentioned that 1 hour challenge, that means minimum for an hour I'll be coding, and then this is how we'll be going at. But this is not gonna be an hour, we have lots of time till 1 or maybe till 2 we'll keep coding, because I have to take a bath, then I have to leave. You understand, right? Okay, by the way, let's simply go ahead and get started with the things. It's gonna be pretty much easy peasy. Don't really think so. It's never gonna be easy peasy, but we can do it. So we were testing it, right? And this was the code that we had. We are able to make diagrams, but the thing is that I even have to save the data. So now the question comes, how it's going to be saved. Simple. Okay, by the way, but before that, let's understand the code that we had. Okay, we are able to draw the things here. That's amazing. I had to work on line diagram so that I could draw the lines properly, and I worked on pencil diagram. That was by mistake, but that was a fortune in disguise. Yeah. Let me do one more thing. Chats are going to be on. I hope I may see some folks here doing the same thing. Would love to get in touch with them too. Let's go live. I'm already live anyway. So here we are. Well, yeah, of course, live chats are gonna be on. Okay, so right now we can just simply go ahead with the stuff. So what are we doing in here? Let's start it from the beginning. So the very first thing that we are doing here, that is this. We have just a canvas. Inside the script we are selecting the canvas. Once the canvas is selected, we are even getting the context of the canvas. Once we have, and 2D context, of course. Once we have that, we are setting pending false. Last x, that means start x. Last means start x. So I wanna make it start, and I wanna make it start by it. It's obvious to remember this way. So start x and start y, then the end. So I will be calling it like this, start end. So this thing is done, and line thickness is here. That's great. Then canvas width and canvas dot width and window dot is equal to window dot inner width. So ultimately we are setting the width and height of the inner window to the canvas width and height respectively. Then ctx fill react, it simply fills it. It fills. Ultimately this is the canvas height, canvas width, and this, if I just remove it, so it's like that. That means canvas has this much height and this much width, and I have to fill the rectangle. That means the whole thing is canvas. Even if I remove it, still the whole thing is canvas. Yeah, I am able to draw. Wow, amazing. That means fill rect, what it does, it simply fills the canvas with a color by default, that is black. As simple as that. Okay, so this thing is done, and next one is canvas. Even we can give it some color if I'm not wrong. So context dot fill style, and that style is gonna be red. That's bad. Hashtag FFF white. Can't do that. It should work. Why isn't it working? We'll figure it out. The thing is that fill rect, fill style. By default, canvas fill rect color is black. How to change it? how to change the color of fill rect in canvas. Yeah, that's right, that's what I was looking for. Let me wear glasses. Yeah, I hope I'm audible right now. I'm not even sure about that. Let me check that first. Yeah, that's right. So fill recto, and then we have to give the color like a red, and it should be red. Canvas we have, context we have, fill rect style red, and then ctx this should work fine. Why is this even not working in that way? Let's stop the live server. It's asking me to stop the live server. The live server is already stopped. What was the status? Something like that. Status bar visibility. Yeah, we've got it here. Let's go live. And even let's do one thing. State here we are. Status bar visibility. I will be toggling it for now. This is how it's gonna be done. And there is this thing that okay, I'm getting some extra width and some extra height. Why is this happening? I need to figure this thing out. Getting some extra width and getting some extra height. Having said that, setting everything 0 here, that is the extra width that I'm getting. This dot offset left, what does this actually gives us? This dot offset left, let's check this thing out, and offset top. Okay, let's figure it out. Go here, inspect it, console 0 0. It's always 0. I think it's mainly used for the canvas to check exactly where the canvas it is. Right now canvas starts at 0, so it's from the top. Offset left, maybe. What does this stand for? We have canvas mouse down function and event. So this means the canvas, and this dot offset left, which means the offset from left side and the offset from top side, and that is 0, and that is why we are getting this thing right now. Okay, if there was offset and then we wanted to check the last one, so it could have been the last this thing, but this thing cannot be this thing because there is offset as well. But right now we don't need that because we are already setting it to, let's check, explain this thing. We need to have an AI along with us so that the learning keeps going on smoothly. Explain this. It's about canvas. In that line, the code is converting the mouse Y position on the whole page into Y position related to the canvas element. E dot page Y is the vertical mouse coordinate relative to the top of the full page. 0 0 is the top left of the document. This offset is the distance in pixels from the top of the page. Offset parented to the top edge of the canvas. Gives how far from the top of the canvas the mouse is. So the last y stores the mouse y coordinates in canvas space instead of page space, which is what you need to for drawing. That is right. So e dot page y is the current position of the mouse. Okay, but the thing is that there is offset as well. If there is offset, so I have to subtract that offset, so that I just have the I get to talk more. Don't you think that e dot page y already gives us the coordinates of y, so why are we even subtracting this offset top? Don't you think that e dot page y already gives us the coordinates of y, so why are we even subtracting this dot offset top? Yeah, come on, let's go. The reason for subtracting this dot offset top from e dot page is because e dot page gives the mouse y coordinate relative to the entire web page, the document and not just the canvas. Yeah, that's right, relative to the entire page, and that's true. Yeah, the canvas element itself is usually positioned somewhere inside the page, not necessarily at the top left corner of the document. E dot page y is the vertical position of the mouse pointer relative to the whole page top edge. This dot offset top is the vertical distance from the top of the page to the top of the canvas element to get the mouse coordinate relative to the canvas itself, which is what you want for drawing or for interaction inside the canvas. You subtract the canvas top offset from the mouse page by coordinates. So we have coordinates of what it's simply telling right now is this, but I'm still not getting this thing. But I mean, wait, here I have this eraser. Until unless I have clear cut what is this? So this is the whole page, suppose, and again we have a rectangular. This is the canvas we have. Now the question is that this is the y that we've got, so of course this is y, and not this is the y, and this is the this can be top. What was I getting? Top offset top. Okay, so this is going to be offset top, and somewhere inside here we have y. And now when I clicked inside it, I got the coordinates, but these coordinates are relative to the whole page, and I want the coordinates related to the canvas. Let's give it some color. Yeah, so I want coordinates relative to the canvas, and for getting that thing, this is the y minus offset. So I'm getting the distance of this only. Why is this even needed? Because most of the time I will be actually drawing the things inside the canvas only, right? And inside the canvas means if I draw here, so it should be measured from here only rather than being measured from the top, and because of that thing it should be like that. Yeah, just hope so. But there is one thing. Okay, let's do this thing. I already got it. But the thing is that even if we have some offset and the canvas is in the middle, when we start drawing, ultimately we get the kind of right coordinate, and if we just draw over there only, the coordinate is going to be the same for the canvas as well as for the whole page. So what is the use of even using offset left or offset top? Won't it be okay if we just remove the offset and simply draw, and won't that work directly? Shorter answer: it might seem to work in simple case, but it will break as soon as the canvas is not exactly aligned with the page, or the page scrolls, or you change layout. The page scrolls, that is the main reason. Like directly it will work, but when the page scrolls, it won't be it will start measuring the things from the top level, from the top of the screen, and that is where we will face the problem, and that is why we need to just minimize the offset, like subtract the offset. It will break as soon as the canvas is not exactly aligned with the page, or the page scrolls, or you change the layout. The offset subtraction makes your code correct and layout independent. Two coordinate system. Each dot page y is measured from very top of document. The whole page canvas drawing coordinates are measured from the top of the canvas. It's own local system where the canvas drawing coordinates are measured from the top of the canvas. Its own local system where the top edge is 0. Got that? Okay, ultimately I got the things right here. What is the difference between page Y and client Y? This is something that I actually got, so gotta know better about it. Page Y are both mouse Y coordinates, but they use different 0 points. Page Y distance from the top of the whole document, the full page including the part you may have scrolled past. Client Y distance from the top of the visible viewport, the browser windows area. So if you scroll 300 pixels and click near the top of the viewport, client Y will be close to 0, page Y will be around 300. It counts from the very top of the document including the scroll. That is why for the canvas work you often use page and page Y plus offset, or get bounding client direct to get consistent coordinates that doesn't reset. Impressive actually. So here we are. First of all, as for giving it the color, well, this does not seem to be working. Why is this even happening? I have no idea. Well, let's D R A B B B F B B. Okay, BB CTX. This does not even seem to be working. How can I give a different color to this? It's simply saying that it should be red. So if I actually keep it red right here like this, it's not even changing that. Fill style, and fill style is equal to red 100 by 100. We are giving the width and height. That's okay, we can even do that for now at least. As for this fill rect means I can give it a certain width, suppose 500, and by 500, that will be okay. That's not a big problem over here. But it doesn't mean that oh my god, this is how it's happening. So ctx.fillRect means this is the color of the pencil we have. By default the color of the canvas is black. If we even don't want that, we can remove it and we can give any color to the display that we have. That's a good thing. So yeah, by default it's going to be black. If we don't want it, we can remove it, and that's impressive actually. Let it be here, and this is the red we have. We can have yellow. So this is yellow we have, and what else do we need? But the thing is that slowly it is okay, but if I just make it really quick, then it's thinner line. Hello world. Well, that's not bad actually. So this thing is done. Impressive. Last x dot, then we get the last x point. Initially I had start x, so I gotta make it a start x, last x. So ultimately, as soon as mouse down is clicked, so start x and start y is declared. Once this thing is done, this offset I already know about this thing, so I don't need to worry about it. So this thing is then going down as soon as mouse up is, which means painting falls. So that's again a good thing. Then canvas mouse move. If painting is true, in that case I get the mouse x and mouse y. They are kind of end x and end y. So even that was okay, right? Mouse x, mouse y, which means the current coordinates I want, and start x means where they actually started. We can call them last x, last y as well. So it's okay to just name it like this. So we have start x, we have start y, exactly where we started. We have mouse x and we have mouse y. They are the current coordinates that we are getting, and of course we are subtracting the offset from the left and as well as offset from the top. That's required. And over here last x is a little bit confusing for me, so I will be just making it start x, and over here it's gonna be start y. That means where I actually started it from. Once this thing is done, I got the coordinates x1, x2, y1, y2, and the thing is that x1 is the current coordinate, x2 is the starting coordinate that we had in the beginning. That can be called the last coordinate as well. Oh, how about going with this last one? Last coordinate, current coordinate, last coordinate. That's also not bad way to think about the things. We can actually go with this thing. So last coordinate means the place where we actually started, but this time we will be going with this is start only. It seems okay, start where we started and the current one, but the current one can be called started ones too. That's right, start one can be called the current one, and it can be starting point as well. Yeah, it can be, no doubt. Then steep. What does this steep mean? What does this steep mean here, and how it works? Steep method dot absolute value, we are getting a y2 minus y1, the distance vertically, and we are getting the absolute in that too minus start, and the current we are saying y2 minus y1. That means start minus that x2 minus x1. The line is testing whether the line segment from x2 x2 y1 and x2 x1 y1 and x2 y2 is steep or not, with means and that is taking greater than method dot abs x2 is the horizontal distance between the points, how far it moves in x. This is the vertical distance between the points, how far it moves in y. If the vertical distance is bigger than the horizontal distance, the line slope magnitude is greater than 1, so the line is considered steep. The result of the comparison, true or false, is stored in steep. Steep means if true, the line goes up or down, then left right. Slope is greater than 1, or slope is less than -1. If it is false, the line goes more left, right, then up and down, and like this. Steep to true, which means left, right, more up and down, more up and down, and steep false means more left and right. So okay, in many line drawing algorithms like Bressenham, you usually iterate over x and complete x, iterate x and compute y. That works best when the line is not steep. For steep lines, the common trick is, if steep is true, temporarily swap x and y for all points. Draw the line as if it were shallow, then swap back when plotting pixels. This keeps algorithm simple and prevents gaps. Too much. Steep meaning, what is the meaning of it? In this context, it describes a line that goes more up and down than left and right. Steep means up and down, how much it can be. By y2 minus y1 and x2 minus x1, how much line changes if the vertical is greater than the horizontal, the line slope magnitude is greater than 1. If the vertical is y2 minus y1 describes the vertical one, if this one ultimately steep means vertical, so if it is greater than this, so this is true, that means 1. If the vertical is greater than the horizontal change, the line slope magnitude is greater than 1, so the steeps become true and the line is called steep, very titled vertically. If horizontal is greater than equal, steep is false and the line is shallow, more horizontal. That's right too. So this is okay. Steep is clear. Steep means it merely refers to the more top, up and down things than left and right things, and we are simply getting the absolute value of this. So y2 minus y1. Having said that, y2 stands for start y, that means starting point, and then y1 stands for the current coordinate. Then we are of course subtracting, and then we are taking the absolute value. So that's a good thing. We can go left and right, top and bottom, so it works. And the same thing we have in here. So ultimately we got the steep value. Once we got this steep value, we are doing this. Why are we doing this? I'm not sure, but I'll figure it out. Steep means it's more vertically, which means top and down, up and down. So what we are doing here, x is equal to x1, x1 is equal to y1, and y1 is equal to x. So we are changing the value of these two, x1 and y1. x1 and y1, we are changing the value of these if the steep is vertically. If steep is vertically, and even we are changing the value of x2 and y2. If it is vertically, in that case, if the value of distance of this is greater than the distance of this, so what are we doing? I have to understand this formula properly. First of all, there are two things that we have. Of course I need a line in here. We are of course playing with 2D diagram. The thing is simple, that we have x1 and y1, and we have x2 and y2. Suppose from here I started, I had a x1 and y1. Okay, and once I got this thing here, then I moved my mouse somewhere, maybe suppose here. Okay, and this became x2 and this became y2. By the way, this is not even the case, x2 minus x1, which means it's okay, it doesn't matter how we do it. So this is the thing. So but this time the distance between y1 and y2 and the distance between x1 and x2, so if I just actually keep it here, so the distance between y1 and y2 is not greater than the distance between x1 excuse me, and x2. So y2 minus y1, and we have one more thing, and that is x2 minus x1. It's all going to be all about physics. It's been a long time, but I will have to learn it. Okay, so even not, it's common sense. So y2 minus y1, so the distance between y2 minus y1 is not greater than that, so this is okay right now. If it goes more, here. Now can't I draw a line properly? Something like this. So the distance between y2 and y1 right now, it is greater than this. That's right. In that case, when it is greater, the value of this is being changed. Y1 is taking the place of x1 and x1 is taking the place of y1. Why? If steep is true, why are we even doing this? If there is steep, why are we just swapping the values? Gotta know. Steep is telling you this line is more vertical than horizontal. That's right. And the swap is a trick to reuse a simple line drawing algorithm. Okay. In many algorithms like Bresenham, the code assumes you walk along the x-axis 1 pixel at a time and adjust your y occasionally. In many algorithms like Bresenham, the come on yaar. Here we are. The code assumes you walk along the x-axis 1 pixel at a time and adjust. It's been recording. Okay. 1 pixel at a time and adjust y occasionally. That only works well when x is greater than y, because we are moving along the x-axis and we are adjusting the y1 as per the need. The line is more horizontal. When steep is true, y is greater than x, so the line is too vertical for that assumption. Yeah, like we are actually moving along with y and adjusting x. The swap x1, this particular thing, and this one, exchanging x and y for both endpoints, effectively rotating the problem. A steep line in xy space becomes a shallow line in the swapped space. Now the same iterate over x, update y. Logic works correctly. After computing the points, the algorithm usually swaps coordinates back when plotting pixels so they appear in the right place on screen. This avoids writing a separate, more complex routine for steep lines while keeping all math simple and uniform. Okay. Great pencil thing. One thing is clear, that as per the formula, that is more suitable for the horizontal thing when steep is false. And when steep is false means if it is here, then okay, x changes and y gets automatically computed. But when it becomes like this, suppose it is more vertically, in that case we need to swap the values. So x1 become y1 and y1 become x. But still that is going to be the same, right? Even if I'm saying this is going to be y1 and this is going to be x1, just changing the values, but ultimately coordinate is the same. So we will be staying at the same place. It's like I am at a place, I was calling is left right, now I'm calling it right left, but I am at the same place. So that's good. And okay, that is mainly because the algorithm works like that. We change the value of x and we can compute the value of y. Well, this is just opposite here. After that is why we need to swap the values. Where was I? I was here. So here we are swapping the values, here we are swapping the values. Once the values are swapped, if needed, then we are checking x1 is greater than x2. Swap them and swap them. If x1 is greater than x2, what is x1 and what is x2? I have to keep this thing in mind too. This time x1 stands for the current position. I think so. X1 stands for the current position. So it's like this. So mainly if I plot it right in here, so this is x2 y2, the starting point, we are naming it like this. And the second thing is that x1 and y1. So this is the x1 and y1, the current position. So this is the current position, and what we are saying that if x1 sorry x2, what was that, just a sec, let me go back few steps back. What I'm saying, first of all we are checking the step. That's okay, step doesn't really matter much ultimately. If that is horizontal, as per the rule we need to do it, that will not make much difference. Second thing I'm telling, checking whether x1 is greater than x2, and whether x1 is greater than x2. Right here x1 is greater than x2. That's true. And if we just go back to this side, now it's not true. So if it is not true, that's okay, but if it is true, then we need to swap the values. X1 is greater than x2, where x1 being assigned the value of x2, x2 is being assigned the value of x, okay, and same here. Why? The other thing, the same thing is even happening over here. If it is greater than, then the values are being assigned. So ultimately, the value of x1 is being value of x2, and the value of x2 is being value of x1. So ultimately this is being the starting point. Crazy stuff. It's not like the algorithm doesn't work. The algorithm does work. Why do we need to even do it? But the thing is that I need to understand the reason behind it. Like, first thing is quite clear. Okay, this thing. Otherwise I may have to watch a video on YouTube like how this particular algorithm works. Let's take the help of AI to understand the things first, and then we'll be going ahead. This is making sure the algorithm always draws the line from left to right in X. X1 is greater than X2, the values are being converted. What it does, if X1 is greater, checks whether the starting point is actually to the right of the ending point of the x-axis. X1 is the current one, so we are just simply checking. It checks whether the starting point is actually to the right of the ending point of the x-axis. Ending point means x1. If it is actually greater than, checks whether the starting point is actually to the left side. If it is it swaps the two ends, this one and this one are exchanged. After this, you are guaranteed that x1 is less than or equals to x2. So the line algorithm can always do from x1 to this and this. We are even okay, x1, x2 and x plus plus. We are increasing the value, that's okay. What are we doing here is simple. We are filling the rectangular, and that is y, that is the x. We are giving the thickness, line thickness. If strip is true, do this. If strip is not true, do this. If strip is not true, so x, y is okay. If strip is true, then y, x. Okay. And as for this thing, line thickness is equal to 5 max square root x2 minus x1 x2 Well, it is being calculated on the basis of how fast we move the mouse divided by 10. Line thickness is less than, line thickness is going to be 1. We can keep the line thickness directly 1 all the time. It may even work great actually. When it comes to line thickness, we can always keep it 1, and when it comes to line thickness 1, wow, crazy stuff. This is the magic of the formula. So I can start from here. I can go at the dot clean. Crazy. So if we actually enable it, if we enable this particular thing, line thickness here, this solves the problem. Well, this does not. We are still facing the same. We have messed up with the code somewhere. Crazy stuff. Something is wrong. Well, we've been changing the value, so that is bound to happen right now. What have we done even? Start x and start y. So one more thing we need to do here. This last one is gonna be start x, and then last y is going to be start y, and this time it should be fine. Yeah, but the thing is that as soon as we start moving it faster, the line gets thicker, sharper and sharper. And if we want to avoid this thing, so we can just comment this particular thing here, and this time it will work the same. Yeah, it's actually working the way we want, and this is actually a good way. I don't want line to be just thicker and something like that. It's amazing. And if we want, we can give it a more width. For example, like line thickness is gonna be 2, and this time it's even better. What else could be better than this? I like even this one, but this particular rule is amazing. So let's go with the default rule that we had, and later we will be customizing it as per our choice. It's like this, and then if we just move it faster, it becomes like that. That's amazing. This thing is done. But before that, we are getting the values of x1, and then we are going ahead. We are starting from x1, we are going till x2, and this is how we are actually calculating the values. That's okay. If x1 is greater than x2, then in that case we are exchanging it. X1 in the sense the current one. If it is greater than x2, we are exchanging the values. That means should always be less than. Dx stands for I don't know what, x2 minus x1 dy, error 0 dy. Okay, what was the name of the rule that I was using? Well, this works. I can just simply go ahead, by the way, with this much only. The question is, if this particular thing works, what do I actually need to save in my DB so that I can actually get it from my database? And for that thing, otherwise I will be able to do it locally, but I need to save it in the database. For that thing, if I'm just saving the values of x1, x2, this is not gonna work. I need these things by x. But the thing is that this much is only for one coordinate. I need to make sure there are many coordinates. What was the name of the rule? Okay, brim. Forgot Okay, rule. What is the name of this rule? Come on, yaar, work. I gotta know about it. I gotta take some classes. First of all, understand about the rule, because I just don't have to make simple things. When I am actually working on this Excalidraw project, I want to make it like a real production ready project. For that thing, I need to work on more. Okay. Breast enhanced line algorithm. Let's see if we find any video on YouTube. If I actually find, I will watch that. As simple as that. Wow. Computer graphics line drawing algorithm. Ultimately, we can learn about computer graphic. Wow. Computer graphics. Oh my god. This is insane. Let me do one thing. Let me turn my audio off for a while and then watch some of the videos, then I'll be back and continue. Alright everybody, here we are back again. Well, I've been just digging deeper into this particular rule that we have. Call it whatever, particular, what can I call it even? Just a sec. It's like formula, okay, algorithm. So this is the algorithm that we have, and the name of this algorithm is Bresenham's line algorithm, something like that. And talking about this one, so mainly in here, as soon as we move the mouse, this thing happens. That means when we move the mouse, the coordinates gets changed, and as when the coordinates change, then we continue from here. That means while moving the mouse, this time we have to save the coordinates when it comes to drawing the line. And once the coordinates are saved, I can just use the same formula and go with this. Like there will be nothing changed in the formula, even I can go with this one. So this is how mainly I have to go on. Start x and start y will be there. So as for these values, the values of start x and start y, that is the top one. Where am I even getting it from? This is going to the starting point. So this is how it's gonna be going on. How can I actually save the things in the database? That is interesting. So when I move the mouse x and mouse y, they get changed. That is right. Once they get changed, I get the value of x1, x2 and y1, y2, right? And ultimately I need to save the values of current coordinates of the mouse, and that is mainly right now x1 and x2. I need to save them, and for saving them I need to send request to the DB, and then all these things are going to be saved there. That is right too. And then what happens once they are saved inside the DB database? Then we actually have to fetch the values we have to fetch the values. Once the values are fetched, we already have x like x2. Ultimately starting point we already have, and this particular point will be how do we get the starting point? When we click mouse down, at that time starting point is declared, and when we move the mouse it keeps getting changed. This is when we are working directly here. What do we need to save in DB and what do we actually need to fetch from there, so that we actually can show the diagrams? So suppose we have saved the value of mouse x and mouse y, like the current coordinates, they are saved. Once they are back, we have got this, that's okay. What about starting the values? They are gonna be 0 by default. Yeah, so the first time the value we get, when we click on mouse down, even this value should be saved in DB. Exactly when we clicked, this should be saved in DB. So I should be getting this. So I have to save this in the database. Not only this, I have to save this in the database. these two things, and once this is done, then the next time I have to change the value. So start is gonna be mouse x, and that is what I'm doing here at the bottom. So this whole thing is done. I've drawn that, and once that done, I'm making it like this. So where do we need to save the values? Probably here. First of all, we are saving it. Come on, yaar. Make it. The first value we sent, as soon as I clicked, starting point got saved, and when we moved, we got the current coordinates, and we saved it to DB. Got that? When we moved again, at that time we have to save it to. So ultimately what I am doing is something like here. Ultimately when it comes to the points, so we have start x value here, we have start y value here, we have mouse x value here, we have mouse y value here. So ultimately these two things I have, that's right. And I can actually save the things here, but the next time when I draw, this will be converted. That means the value of x will be changed, the value of y will be changed, the current mouse will be changed to. So this is how I can just simply go ahead. That simply means I can do this thing here. Saving it in the database, and once the values are saved, next time the values of this will be changed, and the value of this are changed, this will be decided, and this is how I can just simply go ahead. That means CLG start x start y, and CLG mouse x and mouse y. This is how we are actually trying to do something. Localhost 1500 5500. So let's get it here. Localhost 500/index.html. Well, here we are. Inspect it. This is the starting point. Okay, this much we drew. The starting point was this start x and start y. I can even give it some name so that it's easy to recognize. Let's make it start something like this. Let's make it, just give it mouse, like the current position of the mouse ultimately. Start was this x and y, then mouse became this, then this, start became this, then mouse became this, then start became this, then mouse became this. I need to save all these values in the DB, and once these values are saved in the database, once these values are actually saved in the database, I can actually go ahead with this stuff. Okay. Firstly, I have to make sure I'm able to run the same code algorithm on using Next.js, and once that thing is done, then I will be thinking of saving the values in the database. And once the values are actually saved in the database, I need to even do two things. Firstly, I need to fetch the things from the database and use this algorithm to draw the lines, and then I need to keep saving them into database and keep drawing, something like that. Oh, at least getting understanding of it slowly. So let's do it. First of all, let's use this formula is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Even I've got most of the things. This tip is the this is the slope that being measured here, and we have even dx, whatever this thing is. I'm not going to go quite deep into it, but most of the things are clear. So let's go with them and see whether we can get it done or not. And we will be working on just this one. Then we will be just combine the things together. So let's do it. Stop this one. Open with live server. Stop live server. CD few steps back. ls cd draw f ls. Let's open this one. Let's keep it on the right side. But now we have canvas, we don't need to worry about that. pencil/space.tsx, and inside it we need to just get the things done. Export default function pencil. This thing is done. I actually have to return a div that will be actually return a canvas, something like this. So things are like this so far. I'm even going to run it. So for running it, all the values saved in db. Let's run it directly. pnpm dev. Hope it's gonna be right. Excalidraw 3002. Localhost 3002/pencil. There's nothing going to be here for sure. Well, it's starting, so of course we won't get that thing here. Once this much is done, then we can just simply move forward and first of all, let's get everything done here only, and then see whether the things work as expected or not, and then we'll simply be going ahead. First of all, we need to even have a reference to this. Const canvas ref is equal to use ref and the value is gonna be null by default. Even the type of it is going to be canvas element HTML canvas element. This is the type of it, and once this thing is done, we'll be giving it the ref canvas ref. This thing is clear. Okay, and next, even we need to give it the width and height. Width is gonna be suppose 500 for now. Height is gonna be 500 for now. Just for now, we will be giving it the okay, we need to make it the use client as well. So let's do it. Use client. So this thing is also done. And what is the next step? Let's use a use effect. The next step is simple. We have to generate the context. whenever the canvas ref changes. So use effect and whenever the canvas ref changes, I have to run it, and when I'm running it, I'm getting context ctx is equal to canvas ref dot current dot get canvas no canvas ref dot get canvas. Not really getting that. How can I get the context? How to draw pencil in canvas? Use pencil on canvas. How to use pencil in canvas? Using pencil on canvas, not something that I need. How to add a pencil on canvas, realistic pencil. This was the code that I had. First of all, we are just simply getting it, and then canvas dot this get context 2D should work fine. So let's even keep this thing on the right side and go ahead with the things. So we have canvas, we have even giving save the values, and this is referencing this thing in here, ultimately referencing the canvas. Canvas dot canvas ref dot current will give me the canvas itself, get context, and 2D should be fine. What is the problem here? Canvas current is possibly null. Will this be okay? But got 0. So let's do one thing. The value might be null, that is okay. Canvas ref, and I will be making sure that it does exist. It's like that. Once this thing is done, what is the next thing? We need to set the height and width. That is already set, so I don't need to worry about that. We have to just simply fill it. So ctx dot fill rect, and that would be 0 by 0 x and y, they are 0, and then width and height, suppose 500 by 500 right now. What will be the result of it? The real thing is that by default the color of that is like that, so I can make some changes in here. Class name, width is going to be screen, height is going to be screen, and bg white I will be giving it. So this is the color that I'm given it, and then we have canvas inside that. When it comes to canvas, I have given the width and height to the canvas, and here I'm just filling it, but I'm not getting. Okay, I've got that. So this thing is clear, it's working fine so far. What is the next step? I've got this. I can even set it to the whole page. I can get it done later on, not now. So this much is better for now. I can just simply go ahead and create some new like use states over here. Canvas ref is okay. Const is painting, set is painting. This thing is done. Use state, and by default it's gonna be false. We are not painting. Const start x and start y. Oh, sorry. Let's do coordinates set coordinates, something like that. We'll be going ahead like this, use state, and by default they are gonna be like, they will be having start x, that will be 0, start y, that will also be 0. Any problem with this? No. So this thing is also done. What is the next thing? We have coordinates, we can have line thickness, const line, okay, let's do one thing, line thickness set line thickness, something like this, and use state, by default it will have 1. So this is how we are gonna be going at. This much is okay for now, even this thing we have got done. Next one, will be having many event listeners. Okay, like we have canvas dot actually not canvas, is that going to be canvas? We have CTS and we are saying canvas dot on. Okay, whenever we click on the canvas, we don't even have the canvas. So let's get the canvas. First of all, const canvas is equal to this particular thing, and once we have that, we will be just making it sure that it is being used. So like this. The next step is canvas dot what? Canvas dot, I can say on mouse down and on mouse click, this can actually work. Or we have add event listener. There are two ways, like either we can go with this one, on mouse down like this, we'll get the event and we'll get the things done. This is the first method, and the second method is to canvas dot add event listener, go with this one, event add event listener, and once this thing is done, we will be adding an event that's gonna be mouse down. Ultimately there are two ways, we'll be getting an event. Once we got the event, this is how we'll be going ahead. So mouse down, before that we'll have mouse up, after that we'll have mouse up. Bad. Mouse up, and one more we'll have mouse move. This is how we'll be going ahead. The good thing is that, call it good thing or whatever, we have to save these values in the database, and that database actually needs the socket connection. Never mind, let's get this much done, then we'll be thinking about other things. First of all, let's make sure whether we are able to draw the things properly directly without the database, and then we'll be thinking of saving it inside the database and all. So on mouse down, what do we need to do? First of all, on mouse down, let's give the event some type. Mouse event should be fine, and here we are. Set is painting, and that's gonna be true. First of all, this thing is gonna happen, and after that we will be giving it some color. By default the color is gonna be white, even if I don't give it. Set coordinates, let's simply set the coordinates, and the coordinates are gonna be as soon as we click mouse down. Okay, coordinates are gonna be start x e dot page x minus this stands for what? This stands for the canvas. What is the offset of it? So this dot offset and left, something like this. But there is a problem. I'll have to make it function for that particular thing, because I'm talking about canvas here. This is how I'll be going ahead. So we are getting the value of start x. So this is how start x is being computed, and then start y is equal to e dot page y minus this dot offset top. Any problem? No problem as such. What if I make it this arrow function? I will have to face problem. This implicitly has any type because it does not have a type annotation. The thing is that this means the top label this, and there is nothing on the top level, and that is why we'll have to make it a function. We'll have to give it proper name function so that it actually refers to the canvas. If I use function in here, so function means this stands for something that is actually calling the mouse event, mouse event, and that is canvas this here. That is why it will work fine this way. So ultimately this thing is done, mouse down is done, then we have mouse up, and then we have mouse move. When it comes to mouse off, painting is going to be false, and that's it. And when we do mouse up, at that time I may be saving the values too, but not now. Let's set a is painting, and that's gonna be false. This much is okay. Mouse move, when we are actually moving the mouse, we have to get the things done. So when we are moving the mouse, there's a lot of code. First of all, if is painting only, then only we will run it. Once this thing is done, we will be deciding the values of mouse x. Mouse x is equal to e dot page x minus the current, of course, this dot offset left, and for this thing I need to make it a that function again. Let's do one thing. Copy the whole thing, paste the whole thing, paste the whole thing. Fine. Okay, so this thing is done. Let mouse y is equal to e dot page y minus this dot offset top. This thing is also done. I got the values of mouse x and mouse y. Do they change? Not really, so I don't need to worry about it. Okay, once this thing is done, we have to set the values x1 y1. They are let's copy the whole thing from here till here and get the things done like this. Okay, last one is gonna be start x. By the way, it's not gonna be like that. Set coordinates is equal to start x is going to be mouse x, and start y is going to be mouse y. As simple as that. Let's remove it from here.